One thing that I think makes Napa uh, the best wine region in the world, in my opinion, is that Napa has half of the world recognized soil orders. It's a paradise for someone that's really into soil because there's so much diversity here.
I'm going to assume almost every wine lover knows Napa Valley. So I would love to just touch a little bit on the region of Napa, but also equally important is tell us about the soil your vineyards are using and how that influences your aromas and your tastes as we actually get into the bottles themselves.
Yeah, so when people talk about Napa Valley, most of the time we talk about how this perfect Mediterranean climate that we have here, um, its location about 35 miles east of the Pacific Ocean, the bay, San Pablo Bay, which is an extension of San Francisco Bay, the microclimate. We talk a lot about the microclimate, but one thing that I think makes Napa uh, the best wine region in the world, in my opinion, is that Napa has half of the world recognized soil orders. It's a it's a paradise for someone that's really into soil because there's so much diversity here, more than anywhere else when it comes to soil diversity. That um, we make wine from 14 out of 16 subregions of Napa, but within the same AVA, within the same subregion, we have different soils. So most of the wines that we make are single vineyard wine. So you do get to um, taste the purity of the terroir from a specific soil type. But it's something honestly that we can talk about for days, and it's kind of like it's fun for most people. It's quite boring to talk about soil, but for us here in Napa, we it's something that we do focus on and we do care about. But it's such a huge topic.
Fair enough. So going a little deeper in that for a moment, for those of people paying attention, they picture you in Manhattan. They picture you at that old job you had, probably dressed very well, I'm assuming, at that old job. And now they see you. I'm going to paint the picture of on this vineyard. And for those who haven't been, it's frankly a farm, right? What was it like the first time you stepped onto that vineyard? Your feet hit the mud. Tell me about what that experience was like for you.
For me, honestly, it felt like it was my calling because although I come from one of the biggest cities in Africa, Casablanca, and then I lived in New York. I mean, it's New York City, Manhattan, and I lived in Manhattan. I worked in Manhattan. I rode a motorcycle in Manhattan. I always felt that my calling was to be in the countryside. Although Napa, it is countryside, but it's like the Hamptons of the West. It's the probably the most expensive agricultural land in the world. It's very beautiful, but you know, being in touch with nature and being a little isolated from the hustle and bustle of civilization, which is usually in the cities, I find a balance when I'm here in Napa because I do travel a lot. Also, I'm on the road and I'm back to the cities trying to sell wine across the U.S. and also across the world. I go to Tokyo and I go to other places as well. So to answer your question, if I haven't already, it's my balance. It's my happy place being in the vineyard. Um, I'm sure you can't picture me, but I do wear a lot now. I never thought I would ever be wearing cowboy hats a lot, but I do wear them because it covers my head pretty well for this with the from the sun. But It's a great lifestyle.
So Malik, thank you for your time. You've talked about your wines, your background. How can we help you? What is your request from the audience watching and listening? And how can we learn more about you and your brand? How can we shop your wines? How can we find you?
Well, thank you for asking. Um, how you can help me? I see myself as an ambassador of Napa Valley. So I encourage you to please, discover Napa and keep it as the leading wine region in the world. We are a wine stop shop for Napa Valley. We have the most diverse portfolio of Napa Valley wines at a great price point. Please check us out, thevice.com. Please follow us. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Fun fact is that our corks have my phone number on them. So this is my
Ah,
number. You can text me, call me, DM me, FaceTime me. If I'm not in an awkward situation, I'll pick up. But I'm very accessible. Um, you know, I'd love to. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to answer your questions. I'd love to help you discover the wine industry, but specifically Napa. I'd love to help you not only discover it and enjoy it as well.